We begin 13 News at noon with breaking news. We've learned one person is dead after a crash on Indy's east side. Now, Metro Police, we're told, were called to the area of East Washington Street and Emerson Avenue around 10 this morning. Detectives say the man who was driving an SUV crashed into a tree. And that SUV seen here caught on fire. Now, people nearby, they rushed to the scene trying to help with fire extinguishers, but they could not get the driver out of the vehicle. Sadly, he died at the scene. And Metro Police say speed was likely a factor in this crash. And we also want to bring you more breaking news. This is on eastbound I-465. This is what drivers are encouraged to avoid or try to avoid. This is I-465 near I-65 on the south side. And if you see this backup of traffic, this is what we're talking about. An overturned semi. Right now, we are working to learn what caused that semi to crash and if there are any reported injuries. Well, Metro Police are cooperating, or say cooperation rather, from victims and community members, and the use of license plate reader technology helped them locate a car connected to several recent armed robberies. Now, this all started around 6 a.m. when Metro Police and officers from Speedway tried to stop a car. That led to a chase that ended when the suspect car crashed into a stopped car near 38th Street and Georgetown Road. The driver of that car was taken to a hospital with minor injuries. The suspect car continued a short distance and then that crashed near Georgetown and Lafayette Road. Police saw 3 minors run from the vehicle. 2 were taken into custody very quickly. The 3rd was found using a drone and an IMPD K9. All 3 were taken to the hospital for treatment and will be interviewed later by robbery detectives. A man and woman are dead after what Metro Police believe was a murder-suicide last night on the east side. Officers were called to a home near East 30th Street and North Midhofer Road around 7 p.m. An IMPD spokesperson says a man and a woman were found in the garage. Both had been shot. Police believe Juan Perez Mendez shot his wife, Claudia Perez Lopez, before shooting himself. He died at the home and his wife died at the hospital. Police say the couple's adult daughter was in the house when the shooting happened and she called 911. Now, she said the two had been arguing since around 3 o'clock that afternoon, and police are urging anyone dealing with domestic violence to get help.
The message we really want to get out is there are so many services available for family counseling, and we don't need to get it to this level, that if people could just maybe take advantage of those services, we could prevent a tragedy like this.
Police are investigating if there is a history of domestic violence calls to that home.
When we have caregivers that are isolated, they might be at greater risk to take out their frustrations, on their loved one.
A shocking and, quite frankly, unbelievable story this afternoon. A 75-year-old Indianapolis woman is accused of neglecting her 40-year-old daughter with disabilities. She now faces 6 counts of neglect and 1 count of intimidation. Now, we do want to warn you that some details of this story are hard to hear. Court documents show the victim has cerebral palsy and requires assistance. Documents reveal she's paralyzed on her left side and has a history of physical and mental impairments. Police say after they were dispatched to the home, they found the woman lying on the floor between the wall and the bed. Now, officers learned that the daughter had been that way for 7 days, urinating and defecating on herself. Now, the reason for this was because the mother allegedly wanted her daughter to, quote, get up on her own. The daughter says she used a wire hanger to fish over her cell phone so she could call 911. And nurses at the hospital claim they found maggots in some of her wounds.
I don't know that we wake up and say, you know what, I just want to be a really terrible caregiver today. But when we're looking at our adult population that still requires a high level of care and have pretty high needs, that can be exhausting. That's really taxing for a parent.
And we talked with experts in social work and caregiving who say if you believe a person isn't being cared for or they're being harmed, you should say something. And for caregivers who may be struggling, you may find it frustrating at times, they say don't be afraid to ask for help. Well, now to an update out of a small town in Hamilton County after a sweeping raid by state police. On Wednesday, investigators confirmed they collected evidence from several town buildings in Atlanta and from the home of one of the town officials, Andy Emmert. Now, town officials tell us they are cooperating with the investigation and that the town itself is not the target. They also tell us Emmert is on administrative leave while they wait for more information from investigators. Now, we are working now to learn the focus of the case, and once we get that confirmed, we will let you know. And the Taylor Community School Corporation is holding a meeting focused on student safety. This all comes after former Taylor High School coach Randy Sullivan was arrested on several charges for having an inappropriate relationship with a student. Last month, detectives say they found inappropriate text messages, pictures, and videos on the victim's phone. They say several of the photos and videos clearly originated inside Sullivan's house. Sullivan turned himself in at the Howard County Jail after police issued a warrant. The superintendent confirms Sullivan has been fired from the district. Our Chase Howell was at today's meeting, and he will tell us what the district is planning to do moving forward on 13 News starting at 4 o'clock. All right, let's get you a check now on our forecast. Of course, another beautiful, pleasant, sunny day. We do have a little bit of clouds in the sky today, but not too much of a worry, right, Sean?
No, forecast right now playing out as we were thinking. We had a complex of thunderstorms to our northwest on radar this morning. Like, oh my goodness, it's coming in. We were saying yesterday this thing would ease and hit the dry air, and we would just be left with some mid and high level clouds, and voila. Every now and then we try to get it right, and we got this one right here. That's what's going on. Might have a couple of sprinkles far west, northwest. Most of our area, though, is going to be quiet today. You can see this thing weakening as it encounters that drier air that's over Indiana right now. But still, we'll keep in a chance. Far western, northwest Indiana. Cloud cover, however, going to have way more bark than bite. 70 with more clouds in Lafayette compared to 75 here in Indy, and it's already 78 in Shelbyville. The dew points remain in the lower 50s, so the air relatively dry. We're going to flirt with 80 degrees over the central and southern portions of the state. Here's Future Track 13 as we go into the evening. We'll have Operation Football forecast and a warm weekend on deck coming up in the 7-day.
All right, thanks, Sean. We are getting new satellite images showing the flooding aftermath from Hurricane Helene. Maxar released these images showing parts of North Carolina before and after the storm hit the area. It's the first clear view of what the region looks like now. They are focused on two towns, Old Fort and Spruce Pine, both in western North Carolina. And the reality of Hurricane Helene's impact is growing more grim with each passing day. The death toll rising to more than 200 just a week after the storm made landfall. But it's not clear how many people are missing or unaccounted for. The widespread devastation complicating rescue and recovery efforts. Our Alex Almanzana shows us how people here in Indiana are flying Hoosier hospitality to those in need.
As communities in the Southeast continue to put their lives back together on the heels of Hurricane Helene, Hoosiers are doing what they do best, turning compassion into action.
It's devastating. I feel like the community needs to get together and help where they can.
Cars lining up at Indianapolis Regional Airport Thursday to help pack these single-engine planes with paper products, food, and other essentials, headed to North Carolina this weekend.
We'll remove the rear seats and we'll put as much as we can back there as long as we're below that 600 pounds.
A grassroots effort taking flight literally overnight.
It was really just heavy on our hearts of how can we use our benefits for the greater good.
With the help of Bailey Purvis's husband, who's a pilot, the couple partnered with a crisis response team from Edinburgh, a donation drive bringing several people from central Indiana, all with one goal in mind: to bring relief to thousands of people in need.
It gives me goosebumps because it's worse than anybody could imagine. We're just trying to make sure that we can get to those hard to reach places that overall a car cannot at this point.
And this morning, as the engines roar, these planes lift off with one mission: to deliver hope and healing.
It's true, make a better day. We are the world. We are the children.
In Greenfield, Alex Almanza, 13 News.
Now, the work to recover and rebuild is far from over, but you can still help. Text Red Cross to the number on your screen to make a $10 donation. That money enables the American Red Cross Indiana region to prepare for and respond to these disasters.